It's exactly 4 years since that amazing opening ceremony at London 2012 Olympics. 70,000 volunteers made the event happen, staffing venues, directing people to seats and ensuring sport took place. And 5 Live's Jonathan Overend caught up with just a few of those GamesMakers from 2012 who were volunteering at the weekend just gone at the anniversary games.
Well, here we are at the Olympic Stadium in East London. It's 4 years after what, for many of us who were lucky enough to be there, has to go down as a life event, has to go down as probably the greatest thing we're going to be involved in our lifetime. And I'm surrounded by a group of ladies who all played an absolutely key role, one way or another, in the success of London 2012. Maybe you'd like to introduce yourselves and what you did 4 years ago.
Hi, I'm Wendy and I worked in the main accreditation centre, so I handed out people's passes that you see hanging around their necks with the lanyards. I did that for 6 months.
Very important job. I speak from vast experience.
Hi, I'm Marcia and I was actually based here at the Olympic Stadium. I was in the event services team and just made sure everyone had a fantastic time.
You made it happen, basically.
I did,
okay.
yes.
Hi, and I'm Jan, and I was in the accreditation team at the Olympic Athletes Village when they all arrived very tired on the buses. And then I was also very lucky to be a Pandemonium drummer and athletes marshal, and we marshalled in the opening and closing ceremony.
You were one of those great drummers in the opening ceremony.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, what a moment. We need to talk about that, absolutely. And you?
Hi, I'm Helen and I was also a games maker. I was at UDAC, which distributed all the uniforms to the 70,000 games makers, and I was there from April to October. And I was also very lucky to be a Pandemonium drummer in the opening ceremony and a marshal in the opening and closing ceremony.
And finally...
Hello, I'm Vera and I was merely a Pandemonium drummer and an athlete marshal in both the opening and the closing ceremonies.
Fantastic. So we found 3 Pandemonium drummers. Well, I'll tell you what, let's while we're on that, let's start with that. What was it like to be in the middle of it that night?
It was the most amazing, awesome experience I've ever had. I think the diversity of everybody that was involved in the opening ceremony, when we sat in our holding area waiting to go on, I just looked around at all the people. I thought, this is like the whole world is in this room and we're representing the world. And it just, and the way the creative team treated us just as so important, and they didn't ever treat us as if we were pawns. They were always with us, encouraging us, supporting us. It's amazing.
I mean, when you got the email or the call to say you were going to be part of it, there must have been a certain amount of trepidation. What am I letting myself in for, sort of thing. Was there?
Well, I'm a big Olympic nut. I'm just about to go to my 7th Summer Games.
Wow.
And so I was thrilled to be asked to be a marshal because that's what I see as the opening ceremony. And when they said I might be doing some drumming, I was a bit like, I don't know about that. I can't drum. And it was something that initially I wasn't that bowled over with, but it's ended up being one of the best things I've done and an amazing legacy, because it's the one thing that's bonded us afterwards and led us on to do some other incredible things.
On the night, I was standing just outside of the doors that we're speaking behind here now, and you were all around me, and you all came out onto the sort of tier, the terrace, if you like, between the lower tier and the top, and we were all thinking, what are these people with buckets about to do? Because they weren't drums, were they? They were buckets. Obviously, you couldn't afford 8,000 drums or whatever. But then you started playing, and we all thought, how are they all keeping in time, in rhythm, at once? Now, tell us, Vera, how you all managed to stay in time.
We all learnt it verbally because obviously there were some drummers, but there were also lots and lots of us who had never had any musical experience whatsoever. So we were all taught. I'm giving the secret away, but that has already been revealed. And it was the words, play the drum so your mum can see you on TV. So that was the rhythm, and it was drummed into us, and that is how we learn.
Almost literally drummed into you. Yes. So can we get that going a bit? Play the drum so your mum can see you on TV. Play the drum so your mum can see you on TV. Play the drum so your mum can see you on TV. You see, there we go. We're all professional musicians all of a sudden. It was an extraordinary sequence, wasn't it? The whole Industrial Revolution sequence to start the opening ceremony. And, well, it's exactly 4 years ago, isn't it, since the 27th of July, 2012. And almost from the moment these guys started drumming, then for a fortnight, that mood grew, didn't it? And it took over the country. Could you all feel that being in the middle of it?
London was a completely different place. I mean, I came the same journey to UDAC as I did on my way to work, and people that I'd seen every day for years, all of a sudden, London became this wonderful place where people were friendly. People spoke on the tube. It was just remarkable, and we do try really hard to keep some of that marvellous feeling going beyond the games.
Yeah, because that whole spirit of volunteering is what has kept you together as a group, and I'm sure many thousands listening to this have volunteered in some shape or form. So talk about your experience as a volunteer. What's it done to you and your character?
I'm now a park champion in this pet park. I'm a Team London ambassador. I'm volunteering at Saracens. I volunteered at the wheelchair rugby, canoe slalom World Cup. I've been to Jersey. Other people I know have been over to America, Canada, you name it. There are people volunteering all the time, and a lot of volunteers I know are off to Rio as well, so we're wishing them all the best too.
Which is amazing commitment, but I mean the obvious question there is how do you find the time? So why do you do it?
Camaraderie, feeling useful. I've never felt so a sense of belonging in all my life. I think the friendships we've made, we all support each other. Lots of people go through hard times, but we keep a smile on our face, we support each other, and I think we're just like, for me it feels like we're like a big family now.
Big family?
Yeah, very big family, and I think also just giving people opportunities that they wouldn't normally think about entering into. Sometimes putting people a little bit out of their comfort zones, but again, that's sort of supporting each other and having new experiences. And also, certainly when we perform to other people, is seeing the reaction on people's faces. It is just so lovely, and just giving a little bit back.
Well, I need to ask you about that in terms of performing to other people, because am I right in saying you've got a single coming out? Are you going to be on top of the pops?
Does that still go?
Well, I don't know. We're all showing our age there a little bit, aren't we? But anyway, it's true. The opening ceremony drummers from London 2012 have teamed up with
Basement Jacks.
Basement Jacks. There we are, aren't we? Hip. Yeah.
Felix from Basement Jacks has produced a record that was written by one of our drummers, Dennis, and he just was inspired to write it because of how we've all been feeling about there's a champion in all of us. It's called Champion, and it's just about saying anybody can do anything. So we've just seen Usain Bolt, he's a champion, but we're all champions too.
Brilliant. And this will be released in perfect timing for it to be used in a montage on the BBC at the end of Rio. Is this the plan?
Well, that would be very nice.
I'll take it with me.
Yes, I mean, we've made a video of it, which I think is very uplifting, and we just had a great time making it, and we want other people to just enjoy and share that spirit that we've all been talking about, and it's just a way of saying this is the Olympic spirit and the volunteering spirit.
Do you still have your buckets, your drums?
I have mine with me, yes, because John asked me to bring it with me, so it's in there.
Is it possible to see your bucket? Come on, get your bucket out. It's one of the most famous buckets here in the Olympic Stadium. It's the bucket that was used as a drum during the Olympic opening ceremony. While Vera's doing that, Marcia, let me just ask you. We were talking about the power of volunteering. Did you work or have you worked with people for whom volunteering has genuinely changed their life?
Yeah, I think everyone. I mean, we're the other unexpected legacy, if you like, of the Games is the GamesMakers choir. So both myself and Wendy are members of that. And there's sort of 150 of us that meet once a month, and everybody will say exactly the same thing. London changed their lives. We're just all, completely, like Jan was saying as well, they go off and volunteer. They would never have done it. I certainly would never have done it either. So it's definitely changed everyone's lives, and they treat things differently now. So.
And we've had some amazing experiences. I mean, we sang here last year for the Rugby World Cup. We did the anthems. We've sung at Wembley Stadium for the Rugby League World Cup. We do anthems at the Hockey Centre. We are the go-to choir for sports anthems. We can do Samoan, Belgian, Dutch, South African, you name it, we can sing the anthem in the language without the words in front of us.
So you're the go-to choir. These guys are the go-to drummers. I can feel a collaboration coming on here one day. It's got to be done. Here we go. Vera's got out her bucket here, which is incredible. Someone somewhere has provided all these buckets, haven't they? How many in total were there, Vera?
I think, well, there were 1,000 of us drummers, so there would have been 1,000 buckets and probably some spare, actually, because I think some were sold off after the games to raise money for charity.
And some of you sort of had these sort of reed-like sticks, almost brushes, weren't they? Did you have one of those, Jan?
This is my metal bucket, and these are basically just from a DIY store, garden canes. Okay. Everything is you could buy in B&Q.
All right. Okay. Well, listen. We'll do it for 5 seconds. Do you so your mum can see you on TV or whatever it was again? Tell me. Remind me what that was.
Play the drum so your mum can see you on TV.
Play the drum so your mum can see me on TV. Blah, 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 blah. Go on. Join in, James.
Come on then, join in. Yeah, all right, Jonathan. Oh, bless. Jonathan Overend with some of the GamesMakers from 2012. I bet Ringo Starr's listening to that absolutely terrified for his future, isn't he?